The Michigan State Spartans and the UCLA Bruins meet in an NCAA tournament first-round matchup in college basketball action from Mackey Arena on Thursday night. The Michigan State Spartans come into the conference tournament as an at-large participant after finishing with a 15-12 overall record, including their opening round loss to Maryland in the Big Ten tournament. Aaron Henry comes in as MSU's lone double-digit scorer with 15.3 ppg, while also sharing the lead in rebounding with Joey Hauser with 5.7 rpg and also leading Sparty with 3.5 apg and 1.3 steals per game as well. Hauser has 9.7 ppg with 5.7 rpg, and Joshua Langford has averaged 9.6 ppg for MSU this season. As a team, Michigan State is averaging 69.5 ppg on 42.5% shooting from the field and 32.2% from three, while allowing 70.7 ppg on 42.6% shooting from the field and 31.6% from three this season. The UCLA Bruins also come in as an at-large bid, finishing with a 17-9 overall record, including their 83-79 out loss to eventual conference champion Oregon State in the quarterfinals of the Pac-12 tournament. Johnny Juzang leads the Bruins in scoring with 14 ppg along with 4.1 rpg, while Jamie Jaquez Jr. has 11.7 ppg with a team-high 6 rpg and 1.2 steals per game. Tiger Campbell has 10.5 ppg with a team-high 5.6 apg to lead UCLA in assists, while Jules Bernard and Cody Riley each have 10+ ppg as well for UCLA this season, round out the group of double-digit scorers for the Bruins. As a team, UCLA is averaging 72.6 ppg on 46.3% shooting from the field and 37.3% from three, while allowing 67.9 ppg on 43.9% shooting from the field and 34.9% from three this season. UCLA and Michigan State are a part of the last four in this year's NCAA tournament. The two teams will meet this Thursday to decide which team goes to the round of 64, and which team's season ends. UCLA had a very solid season out of the Pac-12 this year, posting a 17-9 record overall. UCLA started its season with a loss to San Diego State but quickly rebounded for 5 straight wins, which included victories over Marquette, Cal, and Pepperdine. UCLA's most impressive win this season has to be its win over Colorado at home on January 2nd. UCLA's worst loss this year was a road loss to Washington State, which is not too shabby at all. UCLA's leading scorer this season was Johnny Juzang, who scored 14.0 points per game for the Bruins. UCLA as a team scored 72.8 points per game, earned 35.0 rebounds per game, and allowed 68.5 points per game to its opposition. This is definitely the most high-profile matchup in First Four history, with the Spartans and Bruins both surviving the bubble to qualify for the 2021 NCAA tournament. Michigan State has needed to maintain an even stronger defensive presence than normal as a result of an offense that ranked second worst in Big Ten conference play. The Bruins are actually a much better offensive team, with a defense that surprisingly ranked just 9th best within the Pac-12. The Spartans have the better resume with recent wins over Illinois, Ohio State, and Michigan. UCLA has lost its last 4 games, but that did include a 1-point loss at home to talent-rich USC. Both teams have the talent, experience, and coaching acumen to give number 6 seed BYU a tough battle in the next matchup. The Spartans' late stretch of Quadrant 1 victories against Illinois, Ohio State and Michigan were enough to earn Tom Izzo another trip to the dance. Michigan State would be a tough draw for a team that relies on three-point shooting. The Spartans are 56th in three-point defense, but struggle to generate takeaways. A rank of 37th in defensive blocks highlights a roster that is top 35 in average height. The issues for the Spartans are terrible ranks in defensive turnovers and free throw rate. Any potential opponent of Michigan State will have the advantage with solid ball security and a high rate of getting to the charity stripe. The defensive metrics are trending upward for Sparty, but the offense still seems to be a complete work in progress. Rocket Watts and Joey Hauser both have had disappointing seasons but flashed some signs of life late in the year. If they can capture that form for a game or two in the tournament, Michigan State could make a Sweet 16 run, but that's probably the realistic ceiling. UCLA snuck into the NCAA tournament on the back of a very efficient offense that ranks 24th in the country, according to Ken Pom. The Bruins slow the game down and look for the best shot, as evidence of their 335th ranked tempo. They rank inside the top 50 in three-point shooting percentage this season, a rate that would be even better if guard Chris Smith didn't tear his ACL in a New Year's Eve game against Utah. The Bruins are fortunate to have gotten into the tournament, having lost their final 4 games of the season. They might not be a pick to make a run in the big dance. So here are my 3 betting suggestions for that game. Michigan State is 7-17 ATS in their last 24 games overall and 2-10 ATS in their last 12 games as a favorite, while the under is 4-0 in their last 4 NCAA tournament games. UCLA is 3-11 ATS in their last 14 games overall and 4-10 ATS in their last 14 neutral site games, while the over is 7-2 in their last 9 games as an underdog. The underdog is 4-1 ATS in the last 6 meetings between these two teams. This is a hard one to call as these are two teams that you don't associate with being in a play-in game, so it's tough. However, unpopular opinion time, as much as I love Tom Izzo as a coach, I don't think this Michigan State team deserves to be in the tournament. I understand they have wins over all of the big boys in the Big Ten this year like Michigan, Illinois, and Ohio State, but looking back, the road win at Duke isn't as impressive as first thought, and there were some frustrating losses mixed in there as well. UCLA is back, and as much as Mick Cronin has the ability to let his teams choke under pressure, I just think that this is a spot where the Bruins can succeed, as there's just a lot more depth and talent within UCLA's ranks. I'll take the point with UCLA, though I'm not sure we even need it. My first betting advice for you is to pick UCLA plus 1.5. Michigan State might have had a rough year, but that's partially because the Big Ten was really good. However, this is a badly flawed team. It might have been able to rise up and beat a few superstars over the last few weeks, but it's painfully inconsistent from the outside, it doesn't force takeaways, and it already has 8 fouls just getting off the bus. There's nothing sexy about this UCLA team, but it shoots well from the field and it can hang enough on the boards to not have a problem against the tough Spartans. My second betting advice for you is to pick Michigan State on money line. Michigan State was a team that was not on many people's radars a couple of months ago, but a few impressive wins later and now Tom Izzo's Spartans are dancing yet again. Michigan State has one of the least impressive records in the tourney at 15-12. Michigan State's best win of the season can be one of a few, such as the win over Michigan, Illinois, or Ohio State. If it were not for those high-profile victories, Michigan State would not be here. But you have to give the Spartans credit for pulling off those 3 major upsets. Michigan State's worst loss of the season was a road loss to Northwestern on December 20th. Michigan State's leading scorer so far this season has been Aaron Henry, who scored 15.3 points per game for the Spartans. As a team, Michigan State has scored 69.0 points per game, has earned 37.6 rebounds per game, and has allowed 70.6 points per game to its opponents as well. My third betting advice for you is to pick under 136.5. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.